Came from South Africa, born in South Africa, raised there until I was 9 and moved to the States. And really my story is a story of redemption, it's a story of second chances, which is exactly what our ministry is about. You know, these little kids are rescued. They get a second chance at life. And I feel in a way that all of us kind of have a redemption story, but for me, it's so personal because coming to the States, we started over. New culture, new language, we left our family behind, and really, God walked along that very lonely time. My immediate family split up as well, so there was this void, and that God filled little bits at a time, brought the right people into my life, revealed Himself in that way, and ultimately, I ended up understanding that the only thing that can fill any void in life is Jesus, and it was just such a beautiful thing to take me through difficult times and ultimately just showing me the only way that we can do this together is in this faith relationship. When I was 27, I didn't have a great relationship with my father, after everything that had happened. And he ended up having a terrible stroke at 53. He was very young. And I sat on my dad's bed, and at the time I wasn't yet a believer, and I said, okay, God, and I didn't really think of it as a prayer. I just kind of said it. I said, okay, God, if you're there, give me a chance to make peace with my dad. And I just left it at that. And, I went back to work in California. A couple of days later, I had to go back to work. And 2 weeks after that, I get a call from a news director in Pittsburgh that said they wanted to hire me as the main anchor in Pittsburgh. And I thought, well, that's strange. I wasn't looking for a job. I'm in California. None of it made sense to me. And then I went, and there in Pittsburgh, I met a photojournalist who was older than me, and we were in dangerous situations, and he would sometimes just say, stop, we have to pray. And I thought, what do you mean we have to pray? We have to protect ourselves, And so I remember thinking, I don't know what he has, but I want that. I want this. And I ultimately understood that it was faith that was just drawing me in, and he was modeling that. And so I asked him, I said, how do I get that? And he pointed me to a great non-denominational church in the area, and I ended up giving my life to the Lord there. But looking back, all of those things, God answered that prayer when I didn't even know it was a prayer. And He gave me a second chance to make peace with my dad. I got a job in Pittsburgh, which is 2 hours away from where my dad was living. And every weekend we got to see each other. We got to redeem that relationship, and we had that second chance. So that was one example of the second chance that I had gotten from the Lord from early on. And it was just, to me, it was like, okay, I see that there's much more to the story than just what you see on the surface.